An ordinance confirming the appointment of Eric Wagner to the position of captain in the fire department and declaring an emergency.
I, Eric Wagner, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of captain in the Avon Lake Fire Department from September 24th, 2018, and thereafter during my continuance in said office.
An ordinance confirming the appointment of Brian Gillis to the position of lieutenant in the fire department and declaring an emergency.
I, Brian Gillis, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Ohio, and that I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of lieutenant in the Avon Lake Fire Department from September 24th, 2018, and thereafter during my continuance in said office.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Since 2016, NOPEC has had a recognition program which has allowed us to say thank you to those in our communities who help serve us, serve the community better. In 2016, we recognized the hard work of mayors, executive assistants. In 2017, we recognized council clerks. And in 2018, it's my pleasure to recognize the efforts of Stephen Presley, the finance director. In the mayor's own words, if you'll allow me, Avon Lake's Finance Department has been recognized by the Government of Finance Officials Association 4 years in a row for excellence in financial reporting. Steve is a true asset to the city for his knowledge maintaining compliance with all state accounting regulations and his experience in sound investment and borrowing strategies. Thank you, Steve, for your hard work on behalf of the residents of Avon Lake. Sincerely, Mayor Greg Zilka.
Wow, didn't see this coming out of anywhere. Certainly it is a team effort. While I may be the head of the department, I have a great staff that I work with every day. And not only the members of the finance department, but everyone from the mayor's office through all of the departments, down to all of the individuals that work for the city. It's a great group to work for, and I enjoy working with all of you, and look forward to many more years of doing so. So
Thank you. But the big thing I wanted to mention is that the traffic light at Weber Road in 83 starts full operation on Wednesday, the 26th. We will ask for police presence to be there during the initial startup of that, but people that drive down State Route 83 will go to work without the traffic light and have to be prepared for the light to be active when they come home in the evening. So we ask, hopefully, people have paid attention to this as an upcoming project and notice that they've been flashing, because when they come home on Wednesday from work, the light will be fully activated. So.
A resolution strongly urging the Ohio Governor and members of the Ohio General Assembly to invest the state budget surplus in municipalities.
I move for passage of temporary legislation 11,154R. In discussion, you remember some background. I looked at this issue a little differently from a state and regional issue. In 1935, the government's local fund was established over the years to assist cities, schools, libraries, and counties to strengthen education, expand public transportation, roads and infrastructure, bridges, to upkeep with those, and preschool investments, jails, senior care, and health issues. An example of the health issues, obviously, is what we're dealing with now, is the opioid crisis and early health care for children. In 2013, the local fund was cut by 50%. And it stayed that way to the present. The amount of money is not going to Avon Lake, and as noted in the resolution in terms of the amounts. Those monies, when we used to get them, we'd use them for a number of different factors, dealing with streets and road constructions and wherever we could use the money. But none of these cities and entities that I mentioned earlier are receiving the amounts that they used to get from that fund since that period of time. The reason for the cut came in 2013 was to revigorate the state rainy day fund, which was down to 89 cents. This came along with the elimination of tangible property tax and estates tax, which affected the above entities that I described. Whether you agree with that or not, presently the rainy fund has now improved and sits at $2.7 billion, and the resolution addresses the $147 million excess, which is wanted to be returned to noted entities, which I think it should go back to the cities that we had discussed, the schools, the libraries, and the counties. Both the Journal, the Chronicle, the Columbus Dispatch, the Plain Dealer endorsed the returning and reestablishment of the increase in the funds to the cities instead of back to the taxpayers. We have established that if this money is returned, that would be used from roads and infrastructure and also safety, which was a request made by Mr. Koss, which I certainly agreed with, that if we do get any funds out of this $147 million, that it should be defined in how we're going to use it. I've got a number of questions about money return. The only thing I could find out was from the Columbus Dispatch, which the return to the taxpayer, if the money was returned, would be on a $50,000 income would be $45 a year, which was estimated, and that was from the Columbus Dispatch. Many of these cities and townships and counties have not moved forward due to the recession and the loss of revenues and decreased property taxes. As we know, the Elyria and Lorraine is not only fighting loss of businesses, but increased costs related to the opioid crisis and safety issues are in need of funds. They just recently needed to pave Route 57 and Route 13 and had to borrow $657,000 from the state. And that goes along with other major and smaller cities who haven't seen this excess money for a number of years. A number of these cities have not recovered from the recession and have had to close the recreation centers, pools, a number of different things that affect families. As in the state, as noted in the public policy report, that 36 cities, in order to meet the loss of these funds, have passed income tax levies to cover these losses. I think next year, whoever the governor is going to be in charge, no matter what, that I think the parties will take a closer look in terms of the legislation parties, maybe opening and recovering some of these funds for cities and schools and libraries and counties, which will add to to possibly getting some of these funds back for cities. And I think they'll take a harder look at it. So I think this resolution, no matter what they do here, if they do return the money back or not, I think the resolution is important from the standpoint that we need to get, it's time with a $2.7 billion balance in the rainy day fund, it's time to get these funds back to cities. And if the formula is different, it's different, but I think that's the important issue here, to get these monies back to cities and counties that need it. Ms. Rossmarin, with the roll, please.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Yes.
Mr. Zuber,
No.
Mr. Arnold,
No.
Mrs. Campo,
Yes.
Mr. James,
Yes.
Mr. Koss.
Yes.
This will award a contract to Total Line Refrigeration Incorporated of Avon Lake, Ohio for a new HVAC system and specific 3 new furnaces for the fire department in an amount not to exceed $17,616. This is an item that the fire department brought to City Council's attention, specifically Public Services Committee's attention several weeks ago, essentially stating that the furnaces were ineffective and breaking, and it was necessary to replace them as soon as possible. Fortunately, we were able to get some good quotes with the Public Works Department, and the Finance Committee was able to change appropriations this evening at the Joint Committee, and the Joint Committee recommended and discharged that we approve this contract to Total Line Refrigeration so that we can get this in place as soon as possible, particularly given the fact that it's starting to get cool out. So with this ordinance, the city will begin the replacements as soon as possible. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Further discussion, Mayor.
Thank you. We had applied for a NOPEC grant. That sort of brings us back to the beginning of the meeting. And we were awarded the new NOPEC grant in the middle of the summer, and that's for $99,000 to improve energy efficiency in various ways within our city. So all of this and more is going to be covered by this grant. So this is not coming from taxpayer dollars. We're very lucky to do this. I really appreciate council's acting in an expeditious manner on this because obviously the firefighters spend a lot of time in that building. There was some concerns about mold, and there were some concerns about the air not circulating properly. These 3 new basically residential air conditioners and furnaces are what were recommended by everybody we got quotes from. So this is the way to go rather than getting one very large unit. This is going to make the situation safer, and we're also going to see a reduction in energy costs because we have pursued this route. So thank you for acting on this tonight.